I'm conducting a life experiment to see if you can build a completely alternative life. And I'm the guinea pig. My dream life is to start weird businesses all around the world. From tiki bars in Antigua to safaris in South Africa. Success means that each business earns hundreds of thousands of pounds, all whilst traveling the world. The catch? I have absolutely no clue how to do this. Only 10 weeks left before I'm out of money. And the irony is, I absolutely hate creating content. So I hired James. Alright, mate! You may recognise him from the Hardest Geezers Project Africa team. So is this alternative life even possible? Can you make loads of money whilst also travelling the world? Let's find out. Ow! In this episode, I have my first board meeting with the equity winner from my Instagram competition. Ross and I have no choice but to delay payment to our app developers. We pitch our new business plan to an investor in the hope of receiving £100,000. Vamos!
Good morning, Joey. You said you were up late last night.
I had a shit day yesterday, I'm not gonna lie. It was one of the worst Sundays I've had in quite a long time. I was super anxious, very, very stressed, very frustrated. That's why I had to leave the house for hours, because I was like, just a bit all over the place.
About anything in particular?
I'm just fucking shitting myself, mate. It really is that simple. I'm gonna run out of money. I do not like being in that position. So yeah, what I do when I feel like that is I plan. And I feel quite good about this plan. This is basically my massive financial document. We've got a personal cash flow, pipeline tracker, to-do lists, revenue options, and essentially 82 days before the project dies. In order to be sustainable, I need to be doing 10k per month. I paid myself 1,500 quid a month out of the business.
So £8.5 a month is
what
even.
the costs of the projects are.
Okay.
That doesn't include the costs of the actual business, which I'm going to have to source separately. So that's more financial problems, but that's not for today.
What is for today?
Yes, fellow founder, the email campaign started going out, so it's the first day go to market.
Fellow Founder is the business you gave away equity on Instagram.
Yes.
Day one of giving away 1% of the six-figure business I'm building for every 1,000 followers I've got.
We have our first board meeting, even though it's just two people, where I'm going to be updating Steve on everything that's been going on and what will be happening over the next month. I'm also setting up someone else doing some email campaigns for Tail to get product sponsorships. But really, I don't want to be reliant on product sponsorships or brand deals. I want to just create a business that generates 10k outside of content, and then the content's just fun. My backup plan, if this all goes tits up, build Fellow Founder from home. It's not the f***ing end of the world. You pick yourself back up, you dust yourself down, and you get on with another business. Yeah, thinking about giving equity away in the tiki bar. A little sneak preview.
What's your rationale behind this, Mr. Speed?
It wasn't me, it was a comment on Instagram. That guy said you should have become the guy that gives away equity, and I was like, f***ing should have.
For anyone watching here, we thought that Joey would have a little bit more engagement than what it has, because on Instagram he has 103,000 followers.
It's down to 102 now.
It's going down. The reason why it's going down is because Joey did an equity giveaway. So he got to 100 and something K with 3 posts. However, they're real people, but not following for you or...
I have a theory on this, and that is, had I kept posting, they would have stayed. But I went close to 3 months between the equity giveaway and posting consistently. At the time, I was getting thousands of likes on posts and 100,000 views plus. And then I stopped posting because it all got too much for me. And then people lost interest, understandably. If we are posting consistently, there's the equity giveaway and then there's consistent posting afterwards, I think people will be interested in the journey of seeing what happens with the person that won.
After barely surviving the project's most stressful week, I kicked off my final week in Barcelona ready to squeeze every last drop out of this Catalonian orange. And what better way to start than with my first board meeting with Steve, the lucky guy who won 39% equity in my business, Fellow Founder, by being randomly picked from my Instagram competition.
Speak soon. Bye. He's a nice guy.
There's always a risk with that type of stuff that you think, if I just gifted it to an absolute wanker.
I was shitting myself about that. I was so nervous that I was going to get someone that would take over, because I know what I'm doing with this kind of stuff.
What are your predictions or projections to be earning in like 3 years' time on this app?
So my goal for year one is to be at 500 paying clients.
What does that turn out to be?
25 grand per month.
He could be getting around 12 grand per month potentially.
No, because when you look at the costs with the business, which are about 20% at the start, we're then going to have additional 2.5 grand that will go on a full-time salary for someone to do a lot of the admin related tasks. You then have the profit share with Nico and corporation tax. So 25 grand a month would result in just over 5k in terms of dividends. His shares would likely be valued around about 300 grand at that point. The reason for that is you would calculate your valuation based on the gross profit, pre-tax, etc. So these are just projections, none of it's real. The valuation of a business is very much down to perception of the individual. So someone might perceive it to be worth way more and someone else might perceive
It's
it to be
valued
less.
what someone's willing to pay you, essentially.
Exactly, yeah.
You did say something about building for an exit. Does that mean like building to sell?
Yeah, I want to build it so where it's worth somewhere between 2 and 4 million and then sell.
So why would you sell rather than stick with it and get it to a place where it'll be worth like 10 million, for example?
It's not as easy to do that. To go from a 2 million valuation to a 10 million is ludicrously hard. On the scenario where it has 2 million valuation, my dividend payment per month is about 10 grand, so 120k a year. If I were to sell at that 2 million valuation, my shares are worth about 1 million. So it would take me 8 years to get to the same amount of money I could get in year one. I could then take that million and put it into an investment fund that returns me 10%, and I could make the same amount of money I'd earn in dividends with no working requirement. For me, I would proportion the million back into weird other businesses that I want to start at that point.
Buzzing from my board meeting with Steve, who, to my relief, turned out to be an all-round great guy, James and I pried ourselves away from our laptops and headed to the beach. There, we were treated to Ross channeling his inner Tony Hawk, or at least his best attempt at it.
There he is. Get you, man.
Subsequent to being thoroughly fooled by Ross's surprisingly convincing skateboarding skills, we hit the beach to unwind for the day with a swim, an ice-cold beer and some tunes. Lovely.
Rossito, how are you this morning?
Okay.
Do you know what that actually means, you say Rosito? When you say ito at the end of a word in Spanish, it means like small and cute. So you call Ross a small and cute.
Ross. Oh.
Thank you, James. I appreciate that. It's made my day.
In the wake of James calling Ross small and cute, we dove into a strategy session. We brainstormed what to offer our developer team partners after pivoting our You-Do business plan. Our new genius idea? Cloning the code to create ready-to-go apps for influencers, letting their followers track and implement their wisdom one step at a time.
Why don't we tell him You-Do 2.0, the vision, the plan, and what it will mean for him in terms of what we'll require from him. And we're going to sell him on the vision and basically say to him, like, look, just so you're aware, Tanner, you know we're all in the same boat here. You will be our dev partner, and for you, if this works, we're going to have 3 to 5 times the amount of business coming to you. The issue we have, and we'll be transparent with him, is money. So we need to go out and raise money to make this happen. And therefore, we want to pause dev.
Whose idea was it to delay the payments to the developers? Joey's. What's the reason behind that?
Because Ross has got no fucking money. He's spending thousands of pounds on product development without any fucking sales. It's one of the worst cash flow management things I've ever seen in my life.
It's what you would do if you essentially had raised money.
Yes.
I haven't raised money. I have raised money through myself.
You haven't raised money, you've earned money by doing work that you're investing into a business that isn't making any money.
So you're delaying paying the developers so that you can put cash elsewhere.
Yes.
This is going to be beneficial for the developers too.
Without a doubt, yeah. The best deals are struck when everyone wins. And in this case with Tane, we can give him 3 to 5 times the amount of business a month. So if our spend increases from 3,000 to 9,000 or 12,000 a month, he wins. And there's also obviously the option of equity and bringing him in to reduce our tech costs, because that will increase when we charge whoever the influencer is for developments on their own code. So there's massive benefits to him, and that's what we're going to try and sell him on and set the context, but not give the ask for delaying the payment.
Yeah.
We kind of stumbled upon this idea of we actually should be doing business to business, not business to consumer. I'm not going to talk about the technicalities here, but Ross told me that it would be possible to clone the code. And we came up with this idea of why don't we do that on repeat and we gift 50% of the new app to a influencer of some kind that educates and inspires. So for example, if you have a productivity coach who talks about the different methods you can do to be productive in your day, why don't we go to that influencer who has a 2.5 to 5 million person following and say, hey, would you like your own app? We're going to use our code base almost like a white label, but we're going to do certain customizations and improvements so it's aligned to whatever you talk about. The benefit of that to us is that we can immediately sell Udo essentially, although it would be branded in a different way, to 5 million people and have brand credibility. The benefit to the influencer, they don't have any tech costs, they don't have any hassle, they don't have any management, so it's unbelievably simple to add quite a significant amount of revenue to their bottom line. What that means for you is the volume of work will hopefully quadruple. So our expectation is once we have these influencers on, is act as a middleman to you. We'll sell your services to develop and refine their app on an ongoing basis, and each of them will become a almost standalone business. The difficulty we have at the moment, like I said at the start, is the cash flow. We are at the moment looking to raise because we just don't have the money to even start this business. I'd like to understand what the options are for us as the longer term partnership, and two, in light of the fact that we are looking to fundraise and are properly cash strapped at the moment, what are the options in terms of how you perceive this particular opportunity, and potentially if there's something we can do in the short term as well as the long term. I don't expect to hold you to anything, by the way. I just thought this would be a good opportunity to tell you about the plan and get your feedback and how you perceive your involvement, if that makes sense.
No, it does, absolutely does. And like I said, I've had similar conversations previously with other companies. I'm totally in on the short term and the long term. So in the short term, we just need to finalize the scope that we need to get going to the influencers and have a product which can be white labels. Once the theme stuff is configurable, then we can just clone for every new influencer and have it ready within like a day. Long term, have like a pretty discounted rate for resources as they increase and adjust the discount against equity that you guys might be building. Because I've done both pre-money, post-money. Paper is essentially equity against payment, or like shares as payment.
I just love to explore the options that we have where if you kind of scratch our back now in terms of the cash flow problem we have in this period whilst we're looking to fundraise, to then basically up the spend once we have the cash to have it. Is there anything you can do to scratch our back now so we can scratch your back later?
Yeah. We can definitely defer payments up to 3 months.
That's very cool. All right, Tano.
Thanks, Tano.
Take it easy.
All right, thanks guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. You are good.
Vamos!
Oh,
It's getting closer. It's getting closer.
that was a good outcome.
Cash flow problem sorted. We'll continue the development to get the MVP simultaneously based on what he said. We're going to have to give some gifts. He deserves to get something back in return for doing that. And he clearly expressed an interest in equity, but he also wanted to test the revenue split. So we don't have to give away equity. It seems like that's on as well. And if we raise, we can even reduce our costs further and put more of that funds into marketing and sales with the discounted rates he can provide. So that was as good a call as we could have had.
That's the best outcome, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
That kind of hurt.
Oh shit, sorry.
With our cash flow crisis on pause, thanks to a near perfect call with our developer team partner, Ross and I geared up for a potentially game-changing chat with one of Ross's rich friends, a crypto trader living the dream in a foreign exotic country. The goal was to pitch for £100,000 of investment to fuel our Udo ambitions.
I love the chaos when it's like this. When the chaos is doing and not thinking, love it. So good. It's so much fun.
What do you enjoy about it?
The feeling of making stuff happen with people that you like when it's fun, and jokey, but you're still operating at a high standard. You feel like you're actually accomplishing something.
I've got a proposition for you. Ready?
Yeah, good.
Hello, by the way, I'm Joey. Good to meet you, mate.
Nice to meet you, Joey.
That's right.
Yeah, Ross never introduces me on these calls, so I have to rudely interrupt and just go hello, by the way, and I am here for a reason.
Right, so we're looking to raise 100k for Udo, right? And it's completely changed direction since Joey's come on because he's the business guy and he's seen this bigger opportunity than I did.
Yeah.
And so we're looking to kind of get 12 months of runway Just want to kind of put it to you. If it's not for you, it's fine.
It's not for me, let me just put it that way. I don't do anything that's not in crypto and like 100% liquid anymore. I've not worked outside of crypto for like over like 6, 7, 8 years now, you know that.
This is interesting to me because there is potentially something we could do around this, right? Based on what you just told me there. Ross doesn't understand cash flow. You know, Ross isn't a numbers guy. So he's been building Udo and spending all this money on dev without actually making any sales, which is why I came in to kind of like try and make the business work. Now, what we discovered was selling to a consumer is ludicrously difficult and long, and it's going to take way too long to get to the point where we can have an exit. Now, what Ross has kind of inadvertently built is a code base that could be sold to influencers. So the plan is we take Udo as like a white label type product. We go to influencers that have 2.5+ million followers. The sale is get your followers, get your consumers of your product to actually go out and implement what you teach them. Based on what you just said around crypto, it kind of gave me an additional idea where perhaps we could bring crypto into this in the form of payments via the followers.
Yeah, but no, like 99.9% of people that are already not into crypto are not going to use your app and pay in crypto. Biggest influencers or celebrities on this planet have tried to onboard their users into crypto, and it's just not, it doesn't work. Like 100% of them fail. Like your shitty Instagram influencers with 2 million followers is not going to achieve that.
If we remove that from it entirely, the plan still is to operate with the 2.5 million plus influencers. If you get 0.1 to 1% of their following purchasing, which is pretty standard for these kind of influencers, the likely monthly revenue we would get per influencer is in between 50 and 100k.
I wouldn't even start running numbers. Like, just get one person on board. Like, you don't need to run the numbers and be like, oh my god, we'll make $25 million in 5 years time if we onboard so many people. Just start the process without doing numbers and be like, let's get 2 on board. We'll give you everything for free for the next 6 months. Let's just work in partnership, and if it works, then we'll talk about it. Forget about the numbers. At this point, just keep it simple.
It's completely fair what you say, and the reality of what we're looking for is someone to punt on us because it is a brand new idea with a brand new process. So I completely get what you're saying, and I agree from a risk perspective. It probably doesn't make sense. It just depends on whether you're willing to take a punt is the short of it, and whether, if you are not, you know anyone that does make these punts for larger forms of equity in return for the payoff in the end for taking that risk.
Even if I knew someone, I would not recommend it. It's not one of those Uber moments. It's not one of those Airbnb moments. It's just one of those generic applications that people could probably use it for example, and they go, I don't use it again. I don't like to put anyone down. I'm just talking from my perspective. Just want to be honest because I want to save you guys time and money if you can also, you know. You want to pursue certain things, you want to keep beating a dead horse, you continue to do that.
So you're in?
It's all good. Appreciate the time anyway, mate.
No worries, no worries.
Bye.
What a cunt. The reason I don't like it was how unsupportive in general he was of Udo. He said it's like a shit app. Is that what a mate says to a mate? There is one thing that comes from these calls. It fucking motivates me, pisses me off conversations like that when the person is just a right cunt. And it makes me go, I'm ready to fucking run through a brick wall just to shove it up that cunt's arse. That is literally how I feel. We're going to fucking make this work. Fueled by harsh words about our new business plan, I felt more motivated than ever to succeed. So Ross and I began singing hi ho, as we got straight off to work on a new project deck for Udo, intending to pitch to more and more investors later in the week. I want this done tonight so we can go and get feedback on it, because we need to send it to the investor tomorrow, the latest.
So what are you two doing right now?
Come have a look. This is a tool called Figma. No ad here, by the way. But essentially what you can see is the development of a pitch deck. And a pitch deck is essentially what you give to an investor to give the oversight of what a business is. So you start off with an introduction, then you go to the problem that you're looking to solve, the solution to that problem, how your product solves it, the market size, the team that's going to do it, the traction that you have as a business, which we have, financial projections, and then the ask of how much money you're looking to raise.
And this is specifically for you trying to raise 100k.
For 15% equity. If we zoom out, you can see the full plan of just how much has gone into it. This middle one, what we're going to use, and all the text beneath the kind of logic going into it. So the next steps, Ross is going to go home, clean all this up, make it look very pretty, and then we're going to go through like a testing phase where we send it to some people to understand whether they know what the business is about, what is our value and what we're asking for, and why we should get it. This is rapid fire pitch deck creation with this guy here, founder of Udo. In the final episode, we witness a human dragon breathing fire, I hijack James's camera to turn the tables and interview him, and the whole team gathers for a heartfelt and slightly chaotic reflection on our Barcelona adventure.